In my 20s, I had been bar hopping all night, and I was somewhat high as a kite. And so I was headed home, and a police officer pulled me over and came up to the car and asked for the basic, your identification, your registration. And he said, "Ma'am, your lights aren't on." And so instead of going, "Thank you for sharing," and driving away, I decided to be resisting and argumentative. "What do you mean?" Of course they're on. What do you mean there? The next thing I know, I'm in the car and I'm headed to jail. Something so simple had imprisoned me. Some easy exchange in life had imprisoned me and locked me in to an old way of being, and as Scripture says, to an old nature. What imprisons you? Could it be that you have the need to be right, the need to be perfect, the need to be in control? Perhaps you have an addictive personality. And a lot of times when people are in circles, and Reverend Kathy and I were talking about this, and they talk about addictive personalities, they go, "No, I don't have any issues with alcohol or drugs." Okay. I'm addicted to drama. You can be addicted to drama. You can be addicted to something wrong. You can be addicted to sugar. And how you define addiction is when you know better about something and you do it anyway. Let me say that again. How do we know we're addicted? You want to know? You have to ask. Thank you for asking. The way you know is that if you know better about something and you keep doing it anyway, that means you're addicted. Because we don't naturally impose pain on ourselves. Amen? Hey, women? We just don't, do we? We do not impose that upon ourselves. So today we are talking about healing, and it's part of an entire weekend of consciousness here at our wonderful community. And ending with the powerhouse healing of the energy through Rob Worgan, that we all get to release anything that may have imprisoned us, and anything else, even as our beloved Shirley Campbell of Unity would say, even if you have bought into a wrong idea about who you are. The universe doesn't slap you on the head and say, "You don't really mean that." The universe goes, "You are my beloved with whom I'm well pleased." And if you want to say that this is how it's going to be for you the rest of your life, yes, it will be. If you believe that making money is hard, it will be. If you believe that falling in love is going to break your heart, this is one that fascinates me. I really love her a lot, but I don't want to get involved with her because we could lose our friendship. Oh my God. Let's just roll our standards down there at the bottom. Are you kidding? Hello? Raise our standards high and look at what is so simple that has us in prison. So, my teacher code likes you to work at things at home. That's your assignment. What is so simple in your life that you have allowed to imprison you? Here at Unity of Santa Barbara, we have created this place that you feel at home. We have created this energy that you feel a sense of belonging, that whoever you are, whatever you have walked through, whatever you're going through now, whatever you survived, how many going to hell classes you took as a Baptist, or whatever happened to you, you are welcome here. You are welcome here within the energy of unity and who we are and what we represent. And we're not here to be all things to all people. We are simply here to say to you that through the Christ within you, you can do all things that matter to you. Because we all have different tastes, we all have different choices. But we are like the elephants would call the stomping grounds. We're here, we come in, we remember, we learn, we unlearn, we go, wow, of course. And then we go out during the week and we role model what life can look like as we live our truth. Yes? And so in that energy, that's the part. And I think about healing. We can't really talk about healing and unity without referring to the co-founder Myrtle. That really started the unity movement because she was, as Reverend Kathy talked about a few weeks ago, destined to die according to diagnosis. You believe your diagnosis and so it will be. Yes? Yes. People that don't know they're going to die usually stay alive. Isn't that exciting? I like that part, don't you? That being said, Myrtle was told that she wouldn't live past 40. She wouldn't live past 40. She had tuberculosis. Very few people did then. So she could have fit right in that standard and been imprisoned by that false idea. And she says that she made life's greatest discovery. She made a discovery that life is wonderful, but you add intelligence to life and then you're on to something. And you apply this intelligence to any part of your life, and it will always work because it is a law. And so she would spend her morning and her evening ritual telling her liver it wasn't torpid, telling her stomach that they were letting go of all those ignorant ideas they had digested from the doctor and from her own mind. She would affirm to her limbs and to her joints that she was young and she was healthy. I mean, I can just see her now in front of the mirror, can't you? I'm Myrtle, you know? I mean, just bringing in life. You know, likened to that little bitty plant that thinks enough of its own intelligence that it will burst through cement in order to survive. Power, intelligence, because the intelligence has said, this is how you shall be, this is who you shall be, and this is natural. And all the other imprisonments are not natural for us in our humanity. Does this work for you? Yes. Are we somewhat on the same page? Yes. Yeah. And so it's like you declare, you affirm. We are imprisoned by age issues, too young, too old. We're imprisoned by trends and ideas. And let's don't even think about, as a culture in our world, that people are still surviving from COVID-tose. That's my word. You can use it, though. COVID-tose. There's comatose. You know, in stress management, we used to teach when people are stressed. And you can tell when people are stressed because they just stare at you. How you doing, Jim? I'm good. How's Janice? She's better. How's everything going, Margaret? Oh, it's going. Hello? Hello? COVID-tose. As a culture, it's okay that we acknowledge that in our soul retrieval. As a culture, we were told you can't even go outside. You can't walk the beach. You can't be in nature. You can't go to the parks. At least that was my experience in Florida. I don't know what you people did over here, but we were shut down from everything. No gyms, no visiting. Wow, COVID-tose, shocked, stunned. What has happened? We've let go of everything. And so we're bringing in an energetic presence of bringing that full life, not only for Unity of Santa Barbara, not only for those of you that are seated in the chair, but for our world to say, wake up, stop sleeping. Say that with me. Wake up, stop sleeping. We're alive now. We're on the other side of this, yes? Are we on the other side of it? Yes, so we are no longer imprisoned or enslaved by it. But we do want to acknowledge that it was real and it was factual and that it happened. And there was very little funny about it. But here we are, and so we tell ourselves to have this great awakening. It's when you've been bedridden with the flu for day after day after day, and you have Kleenexes all over your bed, and you have the lozenges and the lozenges package, and you have the nose stuff, and you just have all that stuff like Rosanna Dana. Are you feeling it? And you're treating yourself because you got the flu, and you just, And one day, no particular day, but one day you go, I am done with that. Say that with me. I am done with that. And all of a sudden you go and you wash the sheets, you throw everything in the trash or into a plastic thing and go, I will not be using you for a very long time, if ever again. That's the day I want us to have today. That's the afternoon I want us to have today. The affirmative one day, this is the day of a major healing for all of us. And healing isn't just being broken. Healing is, how's your self-esteem? Healing is it okay if someone thinks that you are amazing? Are you comfortable with that? Healing isn't just about the obvious things. Sometimes those are the more lucky people. Healing is what goes on inside. When somebody says, you're the most beautiful person I've ever met in my life. And yes, we say that to men too. Deal with it. Everybody breathe that in. You are the most beautiful person I've ever met in my life. Say that out loud. You are the most beautiful person I have ever met in my life. Because see, if we don't know that about ourselves, that's how we project on the world for the rest of our lives. How you feel about you is how you believe God feels about you and everything and everyone within it. Yes? It's like a woman told her friend, she said, my son, he is so great. Oh, he's unbelievable. And she said, does he drink? She said, no. Does he smoke? No. Does he stay out all night? No, he doesn't. She goes, wow, he is great. Well, how old is he? He'll be 6 months on Wednesday. As I was reflecting, Rob, on your being here, I was thinking about a former executive director back in Florida that I had the privilege of working with, and her grandson. We were suspicious that the son-in-law had done something to the boy when he went to the hospital. We suspected that the father, the dad, in his irrational reactive behavior, had hurt that little boy. He was just a few months old. And this little boy, when he returned from this experience, was not the same child, did not have the same eyes, looked different. And I asked her, I said, because she learned to be unity, but she was not unity, and she thought I was, whoa, baby, out there. And I said to her, could I have Rob come in? Would you be comfortable with that, since your grandson is here today? I've had very few experiences like that in my life. He picked up that baby, and that baby started wailing. Do you remember that? I mean, you've only seen 250,000 people or more, but do you remember that? Started wailing, and that baby screamed. I want to say minutes and minutes, and let that energy out. And that child is now 11 and soaring in everything he does. But it's the energies that people carry consciously and unconsciously, you see. Powerful, powerful time. In Psalms 46:10, one of my favorite scriptures is, be still and know that I am God. Say that with me. Be still and know that I am God. A lot of people say, be still and know I am God. They forget the that part. But to me, it's very important, because every one of us right now where you're seated, you have a that going on. Am I correct? You don't have to raise your hands on video, but just kind of do that so I'll know. Yeah. We all have a that. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that. The that you have in your life is here to draw out of you your light, like that police officer was for me. Don't be argumentative. Don't resist it, because it is inviting you to bring out something greater than yourself, than you know right now. So you appreciate your that. It's not the that in your life that causes you pain. It's the resistance and the denial of the that creates the heaviness. Does that make sense? And so be still and know that I am God. Be still and know in the heart. Be still and be still and be. Wow. How powerful is that energetic presence, you see? How powerful is that essence of being in our lives? And so we come to this enveloping energy. I was telling our group yesterday that in Denmark, there's a library that you go to the library and you don't go to get a book. You go to get a person. You borrow a person for 30 minutes so that they can tell you the story of who they are in their lives. Isn't that awesome? And you open your heart, because that's what storytelling does. To me, that is the advantageous part of why we gather. Part of the reason that we gather is to tell these stories, refer to these stories, because as long as we are telling stories, our most ancient reality, and since the beginning of us being in our human suits, is that we are revealing and we are giving the vision within us and the healer hope that all is well. Yes? So it's a very powerful thing, an experience that we have, and that particular connection. There was a little boy in the car going home with his parents, and he was crying, and he was crying, and he was crying. And they're like, what is wrong? I've never seen you this way after church. You know, you're usually really happy. And he just said, oh, nothing. And he keeps on crying. And finally they said, what is it? He said, well, our teacher told us that we need to live in a spiritual home. But I really want to live with you guys. This is where we are in 2023, is that we're modeling, that we are congruent, that we're living the truth, that we are expressing life, that when people see us, we have more energy than they can imagine. That everywhere you walk on your path, people feel it. They want to model you. They want to be like you. You want to grow your template to a greater place of where you are. And it's just like when I was going into my 60s. Now, everybody breathe. I know you're surprised. But when I was going into my 60s, in my 50s, I set in motion a vision that in my 60s, people would say, and I know I've told you this before, I didn't forget it, but it bears repeating, that I have more energy than most people they've ever met. That's what I put in motion. And that's what people say, because that's what I became. That's what prayer does. Prayer is now, and prayer and healing is in your becoming. Now, going into the 7 number, okay, I am going to have the most muscular, buff body you have ever seen. I'm not even sure. I might wear just tights and something on. I'm not sure. I will wear something, but I'm not sure. But let me tell you, you're going to see it, because that's where I'm headed. Where are you headed? Where are you headed? In your now and in the template of your prayer ahead. You're going to be in the Guinness Book of World Records for the longest person that ever lived with energy and with life. Why not? I doubt anybody's going to talk about you if you don't make the mark. Right? Raise your standard, raise it high. In closing, Tom Booker, the horse whisperer, told a story of a horse that was out of its stall and was spooked with a cell phone. And it went running away, and it was in shock. And so Tom just went out, middle of the pasture. He sat down, and he waited, and the horse came to him. He finally felt safe and came to him, and he was able to put him back in the stall. Many of us were spooked with COVID, spooked with things going on in life. And this afternoon, we're going to sit here and we're going to immerse ourselves in the energy and the intelligence of life. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for being here. Bless you. Thank you.